Brothers and sisters, one of the healthiest things you can do for yourself is staying hydrated. And you know what I'm talking about. You go to your basketball game, football game, pro wrestling events, and suddenly you get a little parched. Well, one of the best ways that you can keep yourself safe is using Liquid IV. See, Liquid IV is a hydration stick that you can pour into 16 ounces of water and immediately get more efficiently hydrated than water alone. Okay? 12 delicious, refreshing flavors, all of your essential B vitamins, including B3, B5, B6, B12, even vitamin C. 3 times the electrolytes as traditional sports drinks. It's made with premium ingredients, non-GMO, free from gluten, dairy, soy, all that good stuff there. Listen, I'm telling you right now, folks, Liquid IV has changed my life. It's something that I use on a regular basis because I'm always on the go. I gotta stay hydrated. You gotta stay hydrated. Liquid IV has your back. It'll keep you exactly that way, hydrated. But don't just take my word for it. I want you to try it out. And because of that, if you head over to liquidiv.com right now, you can put anything that you want in your cart, and then at checkout, use the promo code Duke Loves Rasslin. No spaces in that now. Duke Loves Rasslin. Going to save you 20% on your entire order. That's how much I care about your hydration. That's how much I want you to check out Liquid IV. So what are you waiting for? Shop better hydration today. Visit liquidiv.com. That's right.
Locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke Loves Rasslin.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
This is Mateo Mayorga of 5 Reasons Sports, and you're listening to the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast.
Brothers and sisters, you know, with the WNBA heating up, all the things happening in the NBA on the horizon here, the Duke has to bring in his main man, Mateo Mayorga, to let me know and let you know what's really going on in professional basketball today. So without further ado, welcome back to the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast. Legitimately our favorite NBA analyst, WNBA analyst, and international man of mystery, Mateo Mayorga. What's going on there, brother?
I'm good, man. It's great to be here. It's been too long. How are you?
I am doing fantastic because you and I are back together again. We got the band back together again. So,
Sure.
Can't go wrong here, man. Every time you come on, I'm always amazed at the response because, Duke Loves Rasslin is primarily a pro wrestling and MMA show. It's a combat sports show for the most part. But when I do these basketball specials, you knock it out of the park every time, bro.
Well, thank you, man. I'm very glad to be coming on and to giving your audience the goods.
Absolutely. So let's just jump right into it because what the heck is going on in the WNBA right now? Are we heading to a lockout?
Well, reporting, Duke, indicates that the October 31st deadline will pass and there will be no resolution from the WNBA Players Association and from the league office. And this is very dangerous for all sides involved because right now the WNBA is on a hot streak, seeing exponential growth in such a short amount of time that they've never seen. And closing the doors could do tremendous damage to that type of continuity. What we know right now is that the players want a greater revenue split than the 12% shares that they are getting because, listen, they are in full understanding that the league has never been profitable. It is not now, but will presumably in the very short future That will change, and they want to be on top of making more money while the league is making more money. So they want their number to grow when the WNBA's number grows. And one of the latest proposals was the NBA offered to raise max contracts from the $250,000 range to the $1 million range. That is quadrupling it. But this was not acceptable to the Players Association because they want a greater split. They want to grow as the league grows. And last month, at the All-Star game in Indianapolis, there was a meeting between the Players Association bigwigs and the league's higher-ups to try to get the ball moving. This was a big dud because nothing materialized here, and this cannot be ignored. This next point, two of the players on the players' union side, uh, Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart, they are a big threat to the WNBA because they are the founders of Unrivaled, the women's 3 versus 3 domestic league headquartered in Miami, Florida, which competes in the off season. This is we created an avenue for other WNBA players to get noticed and get more money. And listen, when you start threatening the dollars of a league, you become their enemy. And listen, this is a little bit of a different example, but the same principle applies. In the early and mid 70s, there was the Oscar Robertson suit in the NBA. Oscar Robertson, as the head of the Players Association, sued the NBA and its owners for better workplace conditions, better pay, for more, also pensions as well, all of that stuff, and they won. But that suit was not settled until Oscar Robertson, a year after he retired, and he was working at CBS, but the league still viewed him as the enemy. You're looking at Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart. What they have done, getting Unrivaled on TNT Sports and on Max streaming, which now Max is HBO Max again. This is some big time stuff, and they are now a big threat to the WNBA. But listen, the players, they have that in their pocket, but they are no idiots. They know that within the next 5 years, up to 2030, the WNBA wants to add 5 teams through expansion, and the expansion fee is $250 million per club. There is money coming in, and when you look at that, aside from the current attractions in the league now, like the super rookie Paige Beckers, with the right type of promotion from league partners and her team, she could be the face of the league. You look at someone like Angel Reese, close to 6 million followers on Instagram. She is a superstar, not just in name, but in game. And then someone like Caitlin Clark, who's got like this Magic Johnson, Larry Bird type effect where she's bringing a lot of casuals and making them hardcore fans. This is going to be growing, and the WNBA players are not going to give the league and ownership a pass when their number starts growing because they need their numbers to start growing. And another thing that's a very big sticking point for the players that they will not relent on, to my understanding, is they need more roster spots because the WNBA does a poor job of managing for attrition late in the WNBA season, and they take little consideration knowing that these ladies are playing overseas and now domestically and unrivaled because the pay is not good in the WNBA or what it should be. And what a surprise. You're seeing the most amount of injuries up to this point you've ever seen in history of the WNBA. So right now, there doesn't look like there's going to be any agreement before October 31st. So it looks like there will be a stoppage, Duke. But from where I'm standing, the ladies should not relent. They should not cave.
It's interesting that you bring up Unrivaled because that is a 3-on-3 women's league that is based in the United States. So traditionally, these female players would have to go all around the world, Europe mostly, but some folks go to Asia, the whole 9 yards there, just to continue to make money because the WNBA has paid so little compared to the output that these ladies, these incredible athletes provide. So now with Unrivaled, they can stay in the United States, they can make more money, and basically stay in game shape for the WNBA season. So I think Unrivaled has turned out to be a asset, for the WNBA, even though they're separate entities. But like you said, they are a threat at the same time because if they're treating the players better, if they can continue to get big time television contracts, distribution, obviously the advertising money and what have you, they're going to start competing in terms of how they're compensating the players. And some players may leave the WNBA and stick with Unrivaled if they get paid well enough. So it's that's an interesting little caveat there. But overall, in your opinion, Mateo, you're a guy that pays attention to WNBA. You know the history. You report on what's going on. Do these players have a point? Do they deserve to get paid at the scale that they're asking for?
Without a doubt, they should be get as close to possible as what they're asking for. I would prefer they get everything they want. But when you're looking at the quality, the product of the regular season, man, it's downright outstanding. These players are passionate, ferocious. And listen, there's less games right now. The season added four more to 44, and with it being less games, it's not like 82 in the men's league. Each one has a greater level of importance. And right now, it's still relatively a baby league. We're still the league's first year of operation was 1997. This hasn't been going on that long. So right now we're only at 13 teams. There's a lot of concentrated talent, and you have a lot of high quality basketball every night. The one thing that I didn't like about what the players did that you know maybe minusculely hurt their cases at the All-Star game. They wore those shirts that said "Pay us what you owe us," and they absolutely should get paid what they owed. But then they went out in the game and they laid that stinker. That didn't make any sense because it's disrespectful to the fans who pay to go there, the ones who scheduled their whole day around that event. And it looks weird because the WNBA All-Star game should be one of those things that the players have as a selling point. Be like, hey, we got this, we got a high level exhibition that other leagues don't have. The NBA doesn't have that anymore. The NBA All-Star game went to crap after the players got spoiled, but it used to be something that David Stern could say, hey, I have this and I can sell to the league partners. The WNBA players made a mistake in the last All-Star game, treating the event like it was some rinky-dink game. And it wasn't like they did it with bad intentions. A lot of them are tired. They're beaten down from the regular season because they didn't get much rest. And again, a lot of them are playing overseas and in Unrivaled. But that'd be the only negative I would say that they've had. When you're talking about the regular season, these are the best women's basketball players in the world, and there is a storyline every night. Every night you will see something spectacular. One night, it was last week, Sonia Citron just going crazy on opponents. Then the next night, it was Paige Beckers dropping a historic 40-point game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm telling you, I'm all in on Paige Beckers. I think she's fantastic. Love her game, and she's just getting started. So she's going to be even better than what she is now, which is scary. Everybody better be on notice there. Speaking of which, I mean, when we start talking about the people who are going to win the awards at the end of the season here in the WNBA, I mean, let's go down the list here. Who's your Rookie of the Year? Who's your MVP, and why?
Well, first, starting with the Rookie of the Year, it's without a doubt Paige Beckers. I know a lot of people are gassing up Sonia lately, and she's been terrific. She's a player I would want on my team every day. But that argument just seems like you're trying to be cute. There really isn't much of a case. Paige Beckers scores more with less help of her teammates. She creates more overreactions. And the biggest difference maker for me is that she has a greater impact on her teammates than Sonia because she has doubled her assist total. And another one that's big is she has doubled her assist to turnover ratio. She's very safe with the ball. And we're talking about Paige Beckers, who plays on a team, the Dallas Wings, which are an inferior group than the Washington Mystics. And for parts of the season, like they've been with Arike Ogunbowale, who is supposed to be the second most powerful weapon on that team. And, Paige has been catching more schemes than usual. And again, last week, she had a 40-point game where she 44 points on 81% shooting. That has never happened in the history of the league. And she is a rookie. And she was doing it with the other team loading up on her like crazy. There is levels to this business. Sonia Citron is an all-star, but Paige Beckers is someone who is likely going to be a Hall of Famer and could very well be the face of the league. Oh, and you said a moment ago MVP. Excuse me. Well, this one is where it gets really a lot closer, Duke, because I know you follow my Substack, so this might seem crazy. Nafisa Collier was the lady I was gassing up at the beginning of the year, and her level of play is comparable to Asia Wilson. But now I have Asia Wilson in the league because attendance is a big factor in this. And listen, if Nafisa were to play the rest of the season, she will have played 77%. If Asia doesn't miss any more games, she will have played about 10% more. When we're talking about a nip and tuck race, these type of things matter, but lately, Nafisa, she's missed 10 games, but lately she missed 7 in a row. Her team won 5 without her. That is a very good percentage without someone who I thought was the best player in the world. And it's because her team is so loaded. That doesn't help her case because when you look at someone like Courtney Williams, she doesn't, excuse me, she doesn't attempt many shots in the lane, but she gets in the lane a lot to draw dribble penetration and kickouts to her teammates. She is someone who can create those type of breakdowns. Asia Wilson doesn't really have too much of that on her team, maybe aside from Jackie Young and on a maybe a very good night Chelsea Gray. But another thing, the rest of the Minnesota Lynx team, the big rotation, Kornikova, Smith, Shepard, and then you have such a second high level weapon in Kayla McBride, who's just always moving and such a fierce weapon when she's curling around screens. Asia Wilson, for the most part, does not have all of this. And right now, the Las Vegas Aces are the hottest team in the league, having won 11 straight games. And the main reason is Asia Wilson has elevated her play. She is playing at the level of last year, where she was the first player in league history to be to score 1,000 points in a season. You're seeing that player right now. And the other big thing, she scores more with less help than Nafisa as well. So to wrap this up, MVP Asia Wilson right now, and Rookie of the Year is Paige Beckers.
Wow. Coming in with the hot takes here, Mateo. He's not playing around here.
Oh no, never.
I tend to agree with you, though. I agree with you on both fronts there. Asia Wilson is playing the type of ball that, boy, if you could choose a WNBA player from the past, I mean, who do you even compare Asia to?
That's really hard. She's got. Here's the thing, because Asia's a big, like,
Yeah, so she's not
and here's
Maya
the,
Moore. She's not Maya
here's the
Moore
thing,
because she's a big.
but she's a big, but she's got a lot of guard qualities. So like maybe like a combination of like Lauren Jackson and Leslie, like getting the best of both worlds here. Like it's just one thing I'm super impressed by her is again, like, playing her like a guard. They will have her curl around down screens, pin downs, back screens, and then and she'll pull up for a jumper, or they will um, run pick and roll with her. No, she's ultra versatile, and that jump shot, once it gets to between 3 and 10 feet, is money. And that's what's really interesting about Asia Wilson too. That area between 3 and 10 feet is one of the hardest areas to score. It's what's known as the short mid range, and the reason why it's so difficult to score is that is the area that gets clogged very quickly when the defense is figured out who they want to slow down in the lane, and it's usually her. So the fact that she's able to be such a monster right now, she's averaging 27 a game, and if she were to keep just that up, she is going to get very close to 1,000 points again, and that's if she gets 27 points every game the rest of the way, which is about 6 or 7 more. But listen, like she's got a little bit of all of the greats in her, and from what I understand, she's a studious player. She watches a lot of film, and she's always trying to get better at practice. So her work ethic is perhaps not exceeded by anyone in the league.
Yeah, well said. I mean, for folks listening, the WNBA of 2025 essentially is the NBA right before Michael Jordan. So we're basically at the beginning of Bird versus Magic. So we got a long way to go. If we're going to compare where the leagues are at and where they can go, and just the talent, the skill level of the talent continues to improve by so much. I mean, I said it, last time you were on the show, man. I remember watching the first WNBA games. I think they aired 2 or 3 games on the same day when the league first started, and Jackie Joyner Kersey was one of the players. Now, this is a Olympic track and field legend, Jackie Joyner Kersey, who had played some basketball when she was younger, but there were so few female professional basketball players who at the time would be good enough to be in the league. So they pulled people like Jackie, which was crazy. Fast forward to today, And there are so many players who are not actively on a roster right now who are excellent. So that just tells you everything you need to know, man. It's a competitive league. Everybody is has improved in terms of skill and athleticism and what have you. We're literally at Bird and Magic right in the beginning. So we're about 1979, 1980 right now. If we were to date what the WNBA's quality is. So you know what that means? We got a long way to go, folks. And when you see somebody like Angel Reese, when you see somebody, like Paige, it's like, whoa, this thing is going to keep going. And who's the young lady in college right now? Juju, right? The young lady in college there who's tearing it up.
Yeah, she's recovering from an ACL. The other one is Lauren Betts, UCLA. She's presumably the top pick. Yeah, they're gonna come in. They're gonna be some stars. But the one that's really the attraction is Juju Watkins, because from my estimation, Duke, she's before she tore her ACL, and I have no reason to believe she won't be the same player. She was one of those type of players that who could get open without a screen whenever she wanted, and she's one of those bigger builds. So she looked like she had a WNBA ready body. So one of the things that young players struggle with is physicality. I don't think she will deal with any of that problems when she enters the WNBA, because she's got an explosive first step and she's got power. You're going to see bodies actually fly off her like on a pinball machine. The other one is Betts. She's the center out of UCLA. She's a close range monster. One of the things I'd say she needs to get better is on defense, to be able to play in more coverages. But we're talking about someone who's only 21 years old. Those things will come in time. I know off the air about a week ago we talked about improving coverages with someone like Lee Yuru, who is now on the Dallas Wings, who sprained her MCL and will no longer play this year. At the beginning of the year, her drop coverage or her defense was not very good. She is now playing in more than one coverage, and she's very good. So players get better, but those are the two to keep your eye on in the future.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed 100%. So again, I mean, the quality is just going to continue to improve, especially as this next generation comes in. And that older generation that has really been running the league for the past, 10, 15 years starts to age out. I mean, we lost Sue Bird. We lost Diana Taurasi. I don't know how much longer Stewie is going to be in the league, especially now that she has
Tina
Unrivaled.
Charles.
Yeah, Tina Charles. We start going like this. These folks are aging out, at least out of the WNBA, and that next level. These are people who have not had the same struggle as those before them had. So there's more of a freedom. They can just literally focus on their skills and focus on getting the job done as athletes, as opposed to everybody else who really had to be pioneers, and once they get this next level straightened out with the contract, I mean, the sky's the limit for whoever comes in the league after that. So it's an exciting time, and it's an interesting time for sure for the league. Real quick, this thing with the Connecticut Sun.
Yeah.
Now, I'm in Boston. There's a lot of buzz out here. We have an ownership. We have some investors, let's say, led by Steve Paliuca, who, intend on purchasing the Connecticut Sun, and they want to take that franchise and move them here to Boston, Massachusetts. Now, the league has stepped up and they've said, "Oh, pump your brakes here. We never approved that. We just had an expansion. Boston wasn't part of it. You can't just buy a team and put them wherever you want." What's the real story here, Mateo? From what you've been able to gather here, what's really going on?
Duke, the problem is Boston. Not that like the league has anything against the people or the city. No, that place is too good for its own good, and the league knows it. Like right now, an expansion fee is $250 million, and what the league is saying is, "Well, Boston wasn't asked for in the proposals for this round of expansion, as if it matters." Pagliuca wants to buy an established team and move it over there. Listen, what the WNBA wants to do. is hold the city of Boston to the side for the next round of expansion in 2033 because they know the price of the brick is going up. To borrow a term from The Wire, they know that they can get a lot more money. And this is the league unethically sticking their business in something that should be a sale. Because when you're looking at what Paliuka and his group can offer right now, helping the league grow immediately and helping improve a team immediately. Let's go with the former first. Last year, the Indiana Fever were the number one sellout crowd in the league, and Caitlin Clark's got a lot to do with that. But check this out. The Golden State Valkyries this year are number one in attendance. They don't got that type of star, and they probably may not for a while because they're not going to be in that position to draft that high because they're actually a good team. So the league is pretty much sabotaging Paliuka because his proposal was $325 million. The To my understanding, Kathy Engelbert did not show that to the other owners, and you're not helping the situation here because when you don't provide a team like Boston, or when there isn't a team like the Sun that moves to Boston, you're not getting the type of sellout crowds that you saw with the Indiana Fever last year, and what you're seeing with the Golden State Valkyries this year. They're number one in attendance. And for goodness sake, we're talking about Boston. These are the fans of the Celtics and the people who bleed for the Red Sox and Patriots. You're talking about things that will be a sellout every night. When they've had a few games there already this year, they've been sellouts. So there is already a history, or a short history, of it working in this area because of Boston's rabid, crazy fan base that is so sick in a good way for this stuff. And the way that it's really, the league is really hurting what could be the Sun is, listen, Paliuka has said he would commit $100 million to a practice facility that right now the Connecticut Sun do not have. And they would be moving from Uncasville to Boston, Massachusetts. Right now, the Sun are one of the few rinky-dink organizations left in the league, and adding a, a state-of-the-art facility like that not just doesn't just tell the players, "Hey, man," doesn't just earn their trust. They're investing in all of us, but those type of things help players get better, and other people start noticing, like the veterans, like the Brianna Stewarts, or the Asia Wilsons, like, man, such a place is making moves, and they really invest in their people. So there's that lost opportunity there because there is no doubt that Boston would have sellout crowds like you are seeing right now with the Golden State Valkyries and you saw last year with the Indiana Fever.
Yeah, no doubt at all. No doubt at all. And I'm going to put it out there right now. My old friend, Steve Paliuka, I need you to connect with Mateo because you guys have a lot to talk about. I mean, we got to figure this thing out, man, because here in Boston, the business owners want it. So the business owners that are around the Garden, they want that team. There's no question about it. The fans want it. Okay? Our elected officials want it. We have a governor who's the first woman elected governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, in Maura Healey. And then in Boston, we have the mayor, Michelle Wu. She's the first woman elected mayor of Boston. And she's the first Chinese American elected mayor of Boston. They are very serious about women empowerment. They're very serious about women's sports. We got a soccer team that we're building a stadium in conjunction with and what have you. There's a lot going on. Invicta FC, which is an all-female MMA promotion, they've put on a show here and they're going to be coming back. Like, there is a lot of movement and interest in women's sports in the city of Boston and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in general. We have it. We have the infrastructure. We have the people who are ready to spend the money. Give us the team. Simple as that. So,
Here's another problem.
Sure.
Here's another problem. The WNBA has a hard on for their owners being duals. For example, like them owning an NBA team and a WNBA team, which critics of this thought process, which they have merit to, say that's really stupid because you're implying that the WNBA can't survive on its own. And I kind of agree with them on that point.
Well, not only that, you put yourself in a position where you limit how many women and people of color are going to be owners. Because the NBA still has a problem with that. I mean, they've gotten a lot better, but still, that's a challenge. So the WNBA has no business playing that game. That's a losing game right there. So, we're going to keep beating the drum on that again. Steve Paliuca, let's figure this out, man. We got to get you and Mateo together here, do an interview and figure this out, because we got to get the word out. We got to update people on what's going on. We want that team. It's as simple as that. We want that team, brother. So let's inform everybody out there about what they can do. Should they be writing or emailing or social media? Should they be bringing signs to WNBA games? Like, what can be done to continue to put the pressure on the league to do the right thing on this? So I'm putting that out there. Those are my words. So you hold me accountable for it, folks. But I'm standing firm on it. And for very selfish reasons. I want a WNBA team in Boston. I want it yesterday. So figure it out. That's right. Moving on here, let's go to NBA. Let's talk some NBA talk here. Malik Beasley, NBA player, one of the top NBA players, excellent shooter. He's on a contract year, so he's renegotiating a new deal. Very attractive, a person that damn near every team in the league would pick up because he's that good. It is discovered that he has financial issues, and he gets investigated for essentially point shaving, for lack of a better term. And Mateo, in a minute here, you'll be able to correct me if I'm misspeaking on anything here. But Malik Beasley was investigated for that, and everybody just kind of left him alone because they figured it must be true. Well, lo and behold, Malik Beasley's cleared of the investigation, no charges, nothing. And now he looks like damaged goods, and it's not looking like he's going to get picked up anytime soon. And if he does get picked up, he certainly is not going to be making the money that he should have been making. So, Mateo, first and foremost, correct anything that I misspoke about, but then also, what are your thoughts from a general standpoint? Should Malik Beasley be gearing up for a lawsuit?
Oh, it's a big one. But listen, first things first, this investigation stemmed around allegations surrounding prop bets made when Malik Beasley was still a member of the Milwaukee Bucks in the 2024 season. He was recently a Detroit Piston, and he was one of the best and most accurate three-point shooters in the league because of just the attention that Cade Cunningham created and Malik Beasley being a high-level release valve. Here's the deal. The reporting that he is cleared is not true. Our friends in Detroit put the spotlight on this first. Malik's own attorney does not know if he will be charged down the line. He may not be a target of the investigation, but he's probably a subject still right now. This is not, the investigation is not over. That we know, but listen, it's true. He has not been charged. There isn't any of that. There's no hint of a crime right now. It's just, this is still a very serious allegation. And you look at that type of stuff hanging over a player's head. Listen, you could sign him. Last year, he was only making $6 million. Considering what kind of situation he's in, I can't imagine he would be signing for more than that. You can get a good player. He was compartmentalizing very well last year because these problems have been going on for a long time. But here's the thing. It's not just this investigation. You're talking about someone who has composed himself like Antonio Brown recently. Like there has been multiple parties who he has owed big money, civilians in the five figures, and he's just run out on them and not paid them. Listen, only lowlifes act like that. And listen, he could be very well liked in the locker room, but if you're a team, you're a coach, you're an executive, do you want that type of influence around your young players? Do you want someone dealing with something that could really put them in trouble when it's not around basketball? So listen, like Malik Beasley is in really a terrible situation. Yeah, he could sign and he'll probably help someone right now, but I think a lot of teams will be reluctant to invest in the headache or what could be potentially a headache down the road.
Yeah, I didn't realize that this thing is not over yet. The reporting that I saw was that he was clear, but you bring up a good
Saranya
point.
got that wrong.
Yeah.
Saranya got that wrong.
Wow.
No, that's wrong.
That's deep. So he's not just the only person being investigated. This is a bigger thing going on here, huh?
Yeah, Rozier is another one. Terry Rozier, guard on the Miami Heat. He is being checked out from uh, some stuff that went on in a game when he was still a member of the Charlotte Hornets.
Wow.
So listen, you look at the type of year Terry Rozier had last year. Awful. The moment he got to Miami, he hasn't been what he's lived up to, and they wasted a first round pick for him. And now my boss Ethan Skolnick has reported they will let him go for anything. This has been lingering in Terry's mind, and it presumably has been one of those things that has wrecked his focus.
That's too bad. I mean, I remember when Terry Rozier was here in Boston,
Mhm.
and he was looked upon as, that next generation of solid player. So it's disappointing to hear that these games are being played because there's no question he has the talent. So if he's doing that bad, then what's really going on? So that's tough. That's tough to hear there. Um, Folks, there's a lot of drama. That's the main idea here. Even if you're not actively watching on a day to day, game to game basis, there's so much drama in the real lives of these folks, and that's one thing that I love about Mateo. Mateo is not afraid to do the research, do the interviews, hit the beat, put up the articles talking about all of these other factors that essentially affect the game. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. You know what I mean? Speaking of which, LeBron James was recorded admitting that his wife wants him to retire within the next season or two. So, you know, I take a step back and I think about that because at first, the first thing that comes to my mind is Tom Brady and Gisele Bundchen and how she told him she wanted him to retire. I think a year or two before he left the Patriots, and they were going back and forth on it, and he essentially lost his marriage because he would not retire, and she argued that she was concerned for his safety, and he had accomplished pretty much everything he needed to accomplish. So what are you holding on to? We got money, like let's raise our family and really step into the next chapter of our lives. And Tom Brady just couldn't do it. So that ended. Now I look at LeBron James, who's a very close friend of Tom Brady's, by the way, and I wonder if Savannah James, LeBron's wife, is kind of looking at it the same way. Like, dude, I see you at home hobbling around. I see what you got to do in order to get your body, prepared just to go out there and perform at the level that you're performing. Something we've never seen before. A player who's played as long as LeBron still playing at this elite level is just not. It's unheard of. It's
Human.
never happened before. So, what are your thoughts on that, Mateo? LeBron said it. That's a direct quote from him. So it's not like anyone's making it up. But what are your thoughts on that when you heard that?
Well, luckily for Savannah, basketball is not nearly as dangerous and well as football. He'll never have to worry about uh, crossing through the middle and being hit with something that could make him a paraplegic or something. Thank goodness. But it does bring up the point. LeBron's already hit the minutes threshold. Like he's got the records. He's nobody has been this good for so long. But what you're seeing right now is someone who is in love with being a star. And like the championships are not the biggest priority for LeBron. And last year it was more clear to me than ever. And it's been getting that way for a long time. But a year ago, we were talking about what he needs to do to really give the Lakers a chance. And I was telling you, like, he can't be this dude who plays 35 minutes a game, which have been the case for since like 2019, because you already crossed 22 years in the league. You don't have the same level of takeover in games that you used to. And listen, when you do that, you're not really a team player. And if you're taking maximum amount of dollars. Now, listen, he opted into his contract and he took which was 52 million. But like, I wasn't expecting him to, uh, take the veteran minimum or something. But at this point, if you're really serious about winning, Why not a discount? It's not really something he has done since his Miami days, which he did do that to so the team with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade can be assembled. But when you're taking max money and your game doesn't really warrant it, you're not a team player anymore. It seems to me like he's more concerned with still being you know uh the king of the NBA when his impact doesn't warrant it. And right now, it's Luca's team now, and he could help them win if he adjusts his game. But I don't think he will play less minutes. Like we talked about it. Tim Duncan, when he was with the Spurs towards the end of his career, he stopped playing over 30 minutes a game the last four or a few years of his career because they wanted him fresh for the playoffs. The last few years in the playoffs, in fourth quarters, LeBron looks gassed, and the fact that he is not willing to change things tells me he's in love with everything he already got.
Now, come on now, Mateo. In fairness, Tim Duncan didn't have any cartilage in his knees at that point. I mean, it was bone on bone. So it wasn't like he could play at that level anymore, even if he wanted to.
No, I'll disagree with you on this point. Tim Duncan, after 19 seasons, he was an elite defender when he retired. He was playing at the level defending on screens. He was a great shot blocker. He wasn't scoring as much as he used to, but he could still give you 14 and 10 with great defense. And and he was playing 28, 29 minutes a game. If LeBron was willing to do those things, like I think he could be more effective. But when you're not playing when you don't commit to defense for more than a hot or a little quick stretch of the season, it does something to the mental make of the other players. They don't go as hard the rest of the game. They're like, if our leader is not going to do it, why should I?
And let me just say this about LeBron, because I saw some pretty shoddy reporting out there from some knuckleheads, people online speculating on top of it, claiming that the Boston Celtics are a potential spot for LeBron. And it was one of the more embarrassing things I've ever seen in my life, because LeBron James has been uber vocal about the fact that he can't stand Boston sports fans. He feels that in general, our city still harbors a lot of racism that gets hurled at the athletes during games. When it happens in baseball, LeBron's one of the first people to speak up. It happens in basketball, LeBron's there to speak up. He's a dog on a bone with that. He's very serious about it. Can't stand Boston in that regard. So, no, there's nothing we can offer LeBron James that would make him play here. It would just never happen. Folks got to do your research. What's that?
Do you remember like 13, 14 years ago? Like, listen, like I don't want to, categorize all Boston fans, but I've seen things from Boston fans that are a little different from other places. Like, for example, like around 13, 14 years ago, there was a fan. It was a woman. She approached Rajon Rondo at this event. I think he was signing autographs, and she was wearing a shirt that said, "quote in green, LeBron is a bitch," and he took his picture with her, and it's just yeah, like he's had a problem with that fan base in the past, where like or I should say, they've rubbed him the wrong way. And when you look at the situation they're in right now, uh, their superstar player Jason Tatum is going through an Achilles recovery. This looks like it's going to be a gap year, and listen, I really do hope it works out. But Achilles tears are some real devastating stuff. Would it be good for him at the very end of his career to go to a team if Jason Tatum is not at the same level? Again, I really hope he is, and I really want him to be. But we're talking about an Achilles. Those things are very sensitive and a real pain in the what to heal. So I. I couldn't see something like that. LeBron going to Boston. I can't see him doing the Rajon Rondo wearing both jerseys. But no, so no.
Yeah, that'll never happen. It'll never happen. Real quick, Cooper Flag. For all
Yeah.
of the casuals out there who may not be caught up, why do they need to get on the Cooper Flag bandwagon right now before the next season starts?
The next great white hope, but this actually might be one for real. Dude, listen, Blake Griffin recently, and this really stunned the crap out of me. He said he's the most skilled prospect he's ever seen, something to this effect. And I was like, wait a minute. You know, couple of years ago, we got this super freak down in San Antonio, Wembanyama, who I wouldn't say is the greatest prospect ever, but he's on a short list of some real amazing ones. But this Cooper Flag kid, why everybody needs to watch him. He's got a lot of skills and he's a high level athlete. I am expecting a rookie of the year season and potentially him to also be on the short list of rookies who have made an all-star team. And he's going to be in a situation that really helps him because the Mavericks are not the Mavericks are not like some regular number one overall pick team where they're the bottom of the league. They got really lucky at the lottery after they traded Luka Doncic, and they got the number one overall pick. Anthony Davis is there. He's going to be someone who commands a lot of double teams. If Cooper Flag plays the way he did in college, he's going to be open on a lot of cuts. And on top of that, D'Angelo Russell, who is the replacement guard at the moment while Kyrie Irving recovers from his ACL injury. D'Angelo loves to play pick and roll. He runs it to death. And if you put uh, Cooper Flag as his screener, you're going to have a lot of situations where those two are thriving together. If D'Angelo wants to pop and take the jump, or if he wants to hit Cooper on a cut or on a lob where he just slams it over someone viciously, those two are going to be a problem together on this team. More so because of the type of off-ball movement, the strength, the skills that Cooper Flag creates. But make no mistake, Anthony Davis, when he is healthy, is one of the 15, 20 best players in the league, and he can really put Cooper Flag in a position to shine because of the pressure he's taken off of him. So don't forget, because him being the number one overall pick, naturally they're going to be on national TV a lot, so you won't be able to miss them.
Wow. Okay. So get your Cooper flags ready, folks, because we got the next big superstar, so to speak. Hopefully, it works out that way, because certainly the league can never have enough stars. There's no question about that. And again, it keeps things competitive, which is always a plus. Lastly, let's jump back to WNBA for a second. Angel Reese. There has been a lot of controversy surrounding her. It's clear that she is a solid player, although there is still room to grow. A lot of people feel that despite her rebounding numbers, she really needs to work on her inside game. She misses a lot of shots on the inside, which is crazy considering her size. What's next for Angel? I mean, really, because clearly she's not getting a championship anytime soon. Where do you see her career going? And is there anything in particular that she personally needs to do in order to put herself in a position where she can actually be a winner in the WNBA?
Angel, starting with Angel first, she needs to keep doing everything she was up to in the lab in the off season. Many people are still giving her a hard time for her abysmal start to the campaign. But after 10 games or so, she really kicked it into high gear, and she's having one of the best turnarounds I have ever seen from a professional athlete. The best thing that happened to her was Tyler Marsh telling her, I want your offense to start a little bit more from the perimeter. And that sounds like sacrilege coming from me because bigs are my favorite player, and you naturally want them to eat at close range. But here's the thing of what makes Angel special. She's got guard skills, and she's someone who can she's racking up dimes while her teammates are not real, score a lot of them are not real scoring options. So, the next step for her development, they got to get her some better players because in my estimation, if she had a team around her like Alyssa Thomas does in Phoenix, you know, I think she would average, 15, 10, and 8, be a triple double threat every night. Angel, you know, her handle is getting better. It's not one of those that looks super polished. It could be a little clunky at times, but it's getting the job done. And what's her real advantage is her strength. She gets down, going to the rim, and and body. It's hard to stay on her hip because of her strength, and what that creates is an overreaction. Someone helping off of Angel's teammate, and she's a good passer. She needs shooters around her to help her grow. I'm not sure if that's going to be it in Chicago with the Sky. They have a very good draft pick coming up from one that they can swap either with the Sun or the Mercury this year. But their 2027 pick, man, they swapped that with the Washington. Excuse me, they not swapped it. They traded it to the Washington Mystics. So if they are a bad team in 2026, they won't be able to be in a position to potentially draft Juju Watkins. And you look at uh, the avenues they have for improvement now. Aside from this upcoming draft, not much. And aside from that, from internal improvement or some free agency signings. But Angel, listen, I think she's going to continue to evolve. Right now, I would say she's one of the 15 best players in the league. Last year, I thought she was, a quality fourth or fifth starter, deserving of her All-Star recognition. But what I saw within the last couple of months is someone who was guarded tighter. Her confidence came back. And that was the real difference between her now and at the beginning of the year. Her confidence was shot. And right now, she thinks she can do anything in the world. And that's a large part of the game. But specifically, you asked me what more things can she keep focusing on? You know, Still, focusing on finishing with both hands in the lab, because she is there all the time. And the point I made about shooters, she is such a prolific offensive rebounder, likely the best in league history. The best time to pop a triple is after an offensive rebound, because the defense is naturally sucked in because everybody tried to grab a rebound. With her passing ability, I have zero doubts that with a good team around her, 4 of her assists could just be to offensive rebounds.
His name is Mateo Mayorga. This is my go-to guy when it comes to professional basketball. And word on the street is that you started dipping your toe into the boxing game as well, right?
Yes, sir. My editor and boss, Ethan Skolnick, gave me the okay to do these things, and we have hit the ground running for our boxing department with the help of a great friend of the show, Mario Serrano at Boxing Labs. We were able to interview Yoenis Tellez, who unsuccessfully defended his WBA interim title on Saturday, August 23rd at Caribe Royale. I have also been hanging out with DeVeril Williamson, former heavyweight and NABF champion here in Denver, Colorado. I also got to do a story on the 40-year anniversary of Lonnie Smith and his victory over Billy Costello for the WBC Super Lightweight Championship in 1985. So yeah, we're hitting the ground running in boxing, and we have, there's a lot of passion behind that, because fighters are a different breed of competitor, because it could be their life when they step into the ring. And these guys have amazing stories, and we're just trying to showcase all of that.
Well, that's good stuff, man. Where can folks catch all of your showcasing of these talented athletes from different sports and what have you?
Mainly, I am at 5 Reasons Sports Network, but you can also find me at Pounding the Rock, which is the San Antonio division of SB Nation, and at my personal Substack, which is Mateo's Hoop Diary. And you just put Substack, and you'll find me there.
Before I let you go, man, you're up in Denver, Colorado. So I got to ask you this question here. What has been the best meal that you've had up in Denver? And I'm not talking home cooking either. I'm talking a place that somebody can actually go to. Because, I mean, listen, you've had the good stuff, man, down in all over Florida, Miami and all that good stuff there. Now you're up in Denver, which does have a reputation for having some pretty good restaurants there. But your palate is your palate. So what would you say is the best meal? Where did you have it, and what was it?
When you guys come down here, there's a place in Cherry Creek called the Urban Egg. They have this chicken and waffle eggs Benedict. The sauce from the eggs Benedict mixing with the waffle and the chicken makes the most incredible blend I have ever had. This is perfect for breakfast or brunch. One of the most amazing meals I've ever had, and the portions are very large. What you want to do, I like to get it with the hash browns, which are loaded hash browns. They have bacon, jalapenos, and cheese, all of that stuff. It's outrageous.
Strictly for the culture every day. Stepping style in your unique way. Patterns and colors so defined. All about the perfect line. Be yourself, let your spirit fly. In this fashion, you'll touch the sky. Strictly for the culture, brand so fine. Dress to impress and show your shine. Strictly for the culture, every day. Stepping style in your unique way.
visit www.strictlyfortheculture.ca.
Mr. Tony Schiavone, and we're desperately out of time on Duke Loves Rasslin.